Hey Tom, what would you do if Santa suddenly landed in your backyard and asked you for directions to the North Pole? Because honestly, I think I would panic before I remembered that the North Pole is literally his house.
Wait, why would Santa need directions to his own place? Jessica, that is the most chaotic start to a podcast we've ever had.
Yes! Welcome back, everyone, to Story Orbit N. Today we are diving into Christmas vocabulary, but in a fun, friendly way, and apparently with a confused Santa.
And honestly, the idea of Santa getting lost makes me wonder how he even travels the entire world in one night. I cannot even manage to find my keys when I am in a hurry.
Same here. And imagine Santa trying to read a GPS saying, turn left in 200 meters, while 8 reindeer are flying like they drank 10 coffees each.
This is actually good vocabulary for learners. When we talk about finding places or giving directions, words like backyard, left, right, and meters appear all the time. Backyard means the outdoor space behind a house.
Exactly. And I love starting with this imaginary scene because it makes vocabulary feel real. When you imagine Santa standing in your backyard saying, "Excuse me, where's the North Pole?" suddenly you remember the word forever.
Totally. Also, moments like this show how much storytelling helps you learn English. If you attach a word to a funny scene, your brain keeps it longer.
Which is why today's episode is full of images, memories, traditions, and all the cozy things related to Christmas. We want learners to feel like they are sitting with us, chatting, laughing, and learning naturally.
Yes, so just relax, enjoy the ride, and imagine Santa trying to borrow your phone for directions. Christmas is magical and chaotic. And speaking of chaotic, remember when I was a kid and I thought a chimney was just a giant tube for Santa to slide down like a playground slide?
Honestly, that is adorable and perfect because chimney is one of the useful Christmas words we wanted to talk about. Many learners hear it in movies but don't know exactly what it is. So a chimney is the vertical structure that lets smoke escape from the fireplace.
By the way, fireplace is another good word. A fireplace is the open space inside a house where people make a fire to stay warm. It is usually made of brick or stone. In some homes, people hang stockings on the fireplace. Stockings are big decorative socks where Santa leaves small presents.
Stocking is such a common Christmas word, and people sometimes mix it with socks in everyday English. So remember, a stocking is mainly for decoration and for holding small gifts during Christmas.
And you know what is funny? When I was little, I thought the stocking was the main present. I remember staring at it and thinking, this is too small for the toy I want. Why is Santa punishing me?
That is adorable. I actually used to check my stocking every 5 minutes on Christmas morning. I thought maybe Santa came late and dropped something while I was brushing my teeth.
That is a classic childhood idea. Listeners, this is a good moment to notice how cultural traditions shape vocabulary. If you grew up without stockings, the word might feel strange, but once you connect it to the idea of a small surprise gift, it suddenly makes sense.
Exactly. And it also makes the word easier to remember.
And speaking of gifts, we have another vocabulary, jewel, wrapping paper. This is the colorful paper you use to wrap presents.
Let me ask you something. Do you actually enjoy wrapping gifts, or do you do what I do, which is wrap everything so badly that it looks like a confused cat did it?
Yours looks like a confused cat. Mine looks like a confused dinosaur. Wrapping paper is a nightmare for people like me. But here's a tip for learners. If someone says they are wrapping up gifts, it means they are covering them in wrapping paper. But to wrap up can also mean to finish something. So context is important.
Exactly. And speaking of confusion, Tom, you mentioned the North Pole. That is another word I want listeners to understand well. The North Pole in Christmas vocabulary is usually the place where Santa lives and where the elves make toys. It is not the scientific North Pole, it is a magical version.
And that brings us to another nice word, elf. Many learners know the word from fantasy movies, but the Christmas elf is specifically a small magical helper who assists Santa. Not the tall, elegant elf with a bow and arrows.
Totally different career paths. One makes arrows, the other wraps teddy bears. And speaking of characters, do you remember when you first learned the word reindeer?
I do. I could not understand why they were called reindeer. I thought they were some type of deer that belonged exclusively to rain, like they only came out when it rained.
That is actually hilarious. Reindeer are the animals that pull Santa's sleigh. Sleigh is the vehicle Santa uses, It is like a sled, but usually bigger and decorated.
Yes, it glides over snow.
Speaking of sleighs flying over houses, there is something magical about Christmas lights. Lights are another vocabulary word. They are small decorative bulbs people put around the tree or the house. When someone says they put up lights, they mean they decorated their home with colorful bulbs.
Lights are part of the magic. And ornaments. Ornaments are the balls or decorations you hang on the Christmas tree. There is also tinsel, which is that shiny material that looks like glittery string. Some people love tinsel, others think it looks like decorative spaghetti.
I am one of the people who love tinsel. It makes the tree sparkle. But Tom, have you ever broken an ornament? Because I used to break one every year, mostly because my cat thought every ornament was a small attackable planet.
Oh, I have broken so many ornaments. You are not alone. And speaking of trees, the Christmas tree is probably the most iconic Christmas word there is. But learners might not know that in English you can say to decorate the tree or to put up the tree, which means to set it up and start decorating.
And that reminds me of another decoration, a wreath. That is the circular decoration made of leaves or flowers, usually placed on doors. During Christmas, it is usually made of evergreen branches and sometimes decorated with red berries.
Those red berries often come from a plant called holly. That is another Christmas word. Holly has shiny green leaves and bright red berries, but do not eat them. Seriously, decoration only.
Definitely decoration only. And speaking of seasonal plants, we cannot forget mistletoe.
It is a special Christmas word. Mistletoe is a small plant with white berries that people hang in their homes during the holidays. In many traditions, it is used as a decoration because it is associated with good luck and winter celebrations.
Speaking of special things, have you ever made a snowman?
So many. When I was a kid, I made the weirdest snowman with one giant eye. People called it the snow monster. But yes, a snowman is another great Christmas or winter word. It is a figure made of snow, usually with 3 balls of snow stacked together.
And then you decorate it with a carrot for the nose, and maybe stones for buttons, and sometimes a scarf. Snowflake is also a useful word. A snowflake is one tiny piece of falling snow with a unique shape.
I love snow vocabulary. It always feels magical. And speaking of magical, we cannot forget carols. Those are traditional Christmas songs. Sometimes people sing carols door to door. In English, you can say to go caroling, which means visiting houses to sing Christmas songs.
I have done it once. And by done it, I mean I followed a group and mouthed the words quietly because I did not know any lyrics.
As long as you brought good vibes, it counts. Christmas is mostly about atmosphere anyway. And joy. Joy is a nice word. It means a feeling of great happiness. You hear it a lot during the season. People say Christmas joy or spread joy.
Let us touch on food vocabulary too. Many English speakers eat turkey for Christmas dinner. Turkey is a large bird, and they might also talk about a feast. Feast means a big celebratory meal.
And one delicious thing is gingerbread. Gingerbread is a type of cookie or cake flavored with ginger and spices. Some people make gingerbread houses, which are edible houses made of gingerbread, icing, and candy.
They look amazing. They collapse fast though. One breath and the roof falls off.
True. And while we are at it, candy cane. A very common Christmas candy. It is a hard, sweet candy shaped like a small walking stick. It usually has red and white stripes, and it tastes like peppermint. People hang candy canes on the Christmas tree or use them to decorate presents.
Also, bells. Bells ring in many Christmas songs because they have a bright, cheerful sound. In decorations, small bells are often hung on trees, wreaths, or door handles. When someone mentions Christmas bells, they usually mean that classic jingling sound you hear everywhere during the season. And the star. Many families place a star at the very top of the Christmas tree. The star is a symbol used in many Christmas traditions, and it is often the final decoration people add to the tree.
And we cannot forget dates. Christmas Eve is the night before Christmas. Christmas Day is the actual holiday on December 25.
Before we go deeper, let me pause and ask listeners something. What is one Christmas word you always hear but never fully understood? Think about it for a moment.
And if you want, after the podcast, write your answer in the comments.
Back to our conversation. Tom, what is your absolute favorite Christmas tradition?
Honestly, decorating the tree. There is something relaxing about placing ornaments one by one. And you?
Mine is baking gingerbread cookies, mostly because I burn half of them and then claim that the burnt ones are artistic.
That is the spirit of Christmas. Creativity mixed with mild chaos.
True. Oh, and earlier you mentioned the fireplace. Many houses have decorations above it, and when people say they are sitting by the fireplace, they mean they are sitting near the fire for warmth.
That reminds me, sometimes in Christmas stories you hear that Santa comes down the chimney and leaves presents under the tree. Under is important because presents usually go below the tree.
Yes, and some families read a nativity story. Nativity refers to the birth of Jesus. Some people have nativity scenes with small figurines.
That is a good cultural note. Not everyone celebrates Christmas the same way, but these words appear often in movies and books.
I also want to highlight the word celebration. It means a joyful event. Christmas is a celebration for many. You can say people gather for a Christmas celebration or a holiday celebration.
And that brings me to a phrase. When people say holiday spirit, they mean the cheerful feeling of the season.
Exactly. And since we are adding expressions, let me explain one. To get into the spirit, this means to start feeling excited or happy about something. For example, I am finally getting into the Christmas spirit means you are starting to enjoy the season.
That is a great one. Another expression is to feel like a kid again. People say that often during Christmas because traditions can make adults feel nostalgic.
True. Tom, do you remember any moment when Christmas made you feel like a kid again?
Oh, absolutely. Last year I saw a huge Christmas tree in the center of the city. It had thousands of lights and giant ornaments. I stood there staring at it for like 10 minutes, full kid mode.
That is adorable, and a perfect example of how vocabulary connects to experience.
Before we wrap up, I want to ask our listeners something too. What is your favorite Christmas word and why? Share it with us.
And now let us summarize. Today we talked about many Christmas words like chimney, stockings, wrapping paper, sleigh, reindeer, ornaments, tinsel, wreath, mistletoe, snowflake, nativity, feast, gingerbread, candy cane, and more. We also explored expressions such as to wrap up, to get into the spirit, and to feel like a kid again.
In the comments, write a sentence using one of these words or expressions. It will help you remember them better.
Thank you all for spending time with us today. We hope you enjoyed this Christmas themed chat. Bye!
And we hope you learned something new while having fun. See you next time on StoryOrbitEN. Bye!